It's time to analyze what's happened at the weekend with our top five. First of all, let's talk about Barcelona and Messi, because we thought we knew everything about Messi, but then we're finding out that one of his, I was going to say weakness, not the word, one of the things that he was a master of, he has become absolutely fantastic too. Not just penalties, actually, which now did you see how he takes them? How he took the penalty against Celta? Used to kick it hard and high. In this occasion, he just deceived the goalkeeper with a soft touch. But no, I was talking about free kicks. I know it has been a while. It has been 3 years in which he scored 15 goals. And of course, I've spoken a few times about his free kick taking, but now he seems to be getting to another level. Took two against Celta, scored both in the same place. Goalkeeper was warned from the first one, and even though he stretched even further and gave us extra step to try to reach the ball, he just couldn't. So that was Messi being brilliant at it. I know that Maradona keeps saying that it was him who one day told him when he was with the national side, this is how you take a free kick. Actually, he had been rehearsing for a long, long time. There's pictures of him when he was at Barcelona as a 15, 16-year-old, and he was already doing a lot of free kicks. But he seemed to have taken it to another level in recent times. As I said, 15 goals he scored in free kicks in the last 3 years. You know how many Real Madrid have scored in that period? 5. So it's a huge, huge difference. Now, there's another stat which is quite funny. In the last 8 years, in the top 5 leagues, which team has scored more free kicks, right, in the last 8 years? Is it Juventus, Roma, Real Madrid, PSG, or Messi? And it is Messi, with 27, I think. So it is extraordinary. We know we're lucky in what we're seeing, but you know what? It also hides the cracks. This Barcelona side lacks energy. There's a bit of confusion about priorities for the side, where to defend, the consistency of that defending. If Messi and Luis Suarez are both playing, they are much more exposed. Piqué is not having a great season, drags the team or the defensive line quite deep. That leaves gaps in the middle. Busquets cannot play everything, and it feels like Valverde is looking for alternatives there. Sergi Roberto was the last one, but with the injury of Semedo against Celta, Sergi Roberto moved to the right back and he brought Busquets in. Real Madrid, of course, played fantastically well against Eibar. The first half was the best that they played this season, even better than against Galatasaray. And it had to do with physical form of players, individual players just reaching a very good level, and the fact that there is competition in the side, which is what Zidane demands. This will never be a structured team that knows how to attack. It will depend a lot on the form of their individuals. And right now, the fact that Valverde and Modric are competing for one place helps both of them. The fact that Valverde and Casemiro use so much space helps Kroos, who is getting close into the box sometimes, at the edge of the box, and feels protected when he does that. He's not so comfortable when he's deeper. The fact that Rodrigo and Vinicius and Lucas Vázquez and Bale and James are looking for a place on the right-hand side helps. The fact that both Courtois and Hazard have been given minutes means that they get into their best, especially Hazard, who made a couple of moves that remind us of the Hazard of Chelsea. He's got to do it more. But the team now understands what he wants. What he wants is when he's got the ball, 1v1, first of all, get the ball in that situation for him. Secondly, move away, because he will just do that those slaloms that he does to beat defenders. So the best Real Madrid. Now, consistency is needed, but right now, since the defeat against Mallorca, 16 goals scored in 5 games and none conceded. So they are doing really well in both departments. They become stronger in both boxes. So the international break, in a way, comes at the wrong time for them. But as I always say, Zidane is not a master of tactics, but he knows that if there is competition in the side, those players are so good that the team will improve. Well, that's happened already. Third, let's talk about Liverpool and Manchester City. What a game that was. The game was more or less at the same time as Atletico Madrid and Espanyol, and it looked like a completely different game. A different sport. Atletico Madrid and Espanyol was slower, there were more fouls, there were teams which were making mistakes. Eventually, things got better in the second half, but Liverpool and City were at a completely different level. It was the most the game that everybody wanted to see right now. At the level of a Clásico, I'm not saying less or more, but at the level of a Clásico is at the moment a rivalry, the modern rivalry, Liverpool and City, Klopp and Pep Guardiola. And it happened what has happened a lot with Pep Guardiola's team against Liverpool. Basically, for City to work, to start feeling confident, all the pieces have to work. All the players have to feel comfortable. All the players have to link up. All the players have to understand where the weaknesses of the rivals are. And it's almost like riding a bicycle. You start slow and then you get to the pace that you want to go to. For Liverpool, they go from 1 to 100 in no time. It's like throwing a stone from a bridge. Boom, they just go so quickly. And because they're so good up front, and because they create the conditions for those up front to be in with space and in superiority, and they are confident, and as I said, they have quality. Given the chances, they take advantage of it. They're so clinical, the most clinical team in the world, the best team in the world right now. And that happened to shoots on target, on goal, and 2 goals for Liverpool, and that was it. Controversy on the penalties. I think we've all seen Bernardo Silva hitting the ball with hand. I know that VAR didn't analyze that bit, but considered anyway that Trent had handballed the ball, or the ball went to his hand, and considered there was no need for penalty. I say 2 things about that. If you look at the Bernardo Silva situation, that he took advantage of the ball hitting his hand, certainly you just allow the game to continue. If you don't analyze that, then I'm surprised that Trent handball hasn't been given a penalty. So the logical response from this would have been Bernardo Silva handballed, the ball hit his hand, that was it. But by saying that they didn't analyze that, that's what will get everybody mad at City, I think. The second penalty, by the way, I don't think it was. That handball, Trent again, it was, wasn't it? It was just close to his body, no penalty there. I'll talk about VAR and the confusion of VAR in England in a little bit. But what I'm trying to say with that game, certainly, is, apart from the controversy, it's just the fact that Liverpool knows how to play City. Because if they, in those attacks that they will always have, while City is adjusting to stop those counter-attacks, if Liverpool takes advantage of it, it's very difficult to come back from that, especially at Anfield. And then City started getting to the pace that they wanted to. And yes, I agree with Pep Guardiola. They were fantastic. They had so much personality to do what they did at Anfield. We all know they have injuries, of course. It's a big squad. Shouldn't be too much complaint on that. But it's big players that were missing. And in any case, they gave a good performance, a very, very good performance. And they had chances. Put the chances of City together. Sterling and Kun Agüero had another one, and Gabriel Jesus as well. And it could have been a different outcome. Now, people will say on the side of City that Liverpool didn't play so well after they scored the goals. Perhaps they didn't need to. But they will be happy that they didn't need to, because if they had to play, if it had been 0-0 after the first 45 minutes, then that's where City becomes superior to Liverpool, I feel, when it's a matter of playing. But because Liverpool have just got like a hammer, boom, 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 then there was no comeback for City. That leaves things very easy or not easy, that's not the word, but the clear possibility of winning the league for Liverpool. But we'll see. Still a long time to go. Leicester, by the way, fantastic too. We'll talk about Leicester another time. But let me just quickly go on VAR for a second. Now, VAR, those that follow me, you know that for me, VAR is something that should not be there. But once we accept that technology has taken over the world, over our lives, it was eventually going to come to football. I've got no problem with goal line technology because that's clear. Did it go in? Didn't go in? That for me it's important and has to be used. In terms of how you use VAR, and by the way, it's going to stay here. It's been approved at all levels by all institutions. It's going to stay. It's how you use it that is worrying. Two things. Now in England, it's become very fashionable to go against VAR because, it's the fashion, so everybody follows. It's stupid to ask for VAR to be removed. What you have to say is to demand for a better performance from VAR. To be honest, it's working much better in Germany, in Italy, in Spain, so it's just a matter of time before it all gets adjusted. But as I said, there are two things that, in my eyes, worry me. One, the fact that referees are at VAR rooms, advising referees on the ground. I think it will improve if you had an independent person who knew the rules or a player, but otherwise it becomes quite, there's a word in Spanish, corporativista. Referee will always defend referee. And in fact, in England, it seems like they don't want to challenge the referee on the ground, when sometimes they have to. Second worry is perhaps a thing that is happening more often in Spain than in England, is that it's used far too often, and far too often without being clear and obvious. That's got two branches to this. Two things I want to say about that, the clear and obvious. One is that, okay, if you use VAR for clear and obvious, fine, but it has to be clear and obvious. Offside lines that are 5 centimeters or 1 centimeter or half centimeter is not clear and obvious. So why are we giving that? Why are we stopping for that? I think that's wrong. By the way, in brackets, the line that we see when we analyze it, the picture that we get given is not always the only picture that VAR has. So we may be discussing the fact that it's only the toe that's over the line, whatever. It may not be the only line, the only angle that VAR has seen. So it doesn't allow us to actually analyze it properly. But in any case, offsides that are not clear and obvious, I don't think should be given. It should be given the possibility for the referee to decide on the ground and the linesman, as it's always been. But if they don't see a big 1 meter space offside, then yes, VAR should intervene. Clear and obvious is what it should be all about, not just in offside, but everywhere else. And the fact that it gets used too often or too little, it's something that will be adjusted. Meanwhile, I just feel that sometimes noise gets created and everybody follows the line. It happens a lot in social media. Now it's just about killing VAR because VAR is killing football. I don't agree with it. It's here to stay. We just need to use it cleverly and sparsely, and when it's clear and obvious. That's what I think. Finally, Arsenal and Unai Emery and the future of Unai Emery. Unai Emery is staying for now because results at the end will dictate the future of him and any coach in the world. But the board are backing him. Why is that? Because despite all the noise around Arsenal, they are analysing that there are things to improve, certainly. They're questioning themselves, is Unai Emery using the squad to the best of their capabilities? And the answer is not yet, but he will. That's a leap of faith. The impression that Unai Emery is doing a good job, the job that neither you or me see, but the job that is judged on what happens on the pitch. And what happens on the pitch is an Arsenal that certainly don't dominate games, allow too many shots on goal, concede too many chances, concede goals, and They don't have the same points as last season, but they're sixth. Now, the position is not just the only thing that the board feel that it's backing what Unai Emery is doing. It's just the fact that at this point, right at this point, you've got two choices as board and as directors. You get rid of everything and start over, but it's the middle of the season, or you back and give confidence to the leadership. Right now, Unai Emery is the leader, and he was chosen because of his ability to make the team flexible, to make the team competitive, and to change the culture of the club. That you definitely don't see, but that is happening. Meanwhile, around the team, there is a lot of toxic atmosphere, people call it. So what? I say, so what? A lot of people accusing Arsenal Fan TV of being the source of that. And even I read David Ornstein in The Athletic talking about, people at the club don't like that Aubameyang is so close to Arsenal Fan TV. So what? That's the source of nothing. The fact is, though, and this is not just Arsenal Fan TV, there's an exaggeration in the analysis of what's happening at Arsenal. They are not that bad. Is it frustrating? Yes. Has it been frustrating for a long time? Well, even before Unai Emery. Well before Unai Emery. But people want things to change now. And they want it now because they're asking for it. They want things to change now because they want to change. They want to change. And they want it now. And so it goes. And it continues. Is it Arsenal Fan TV? No, Arsenal Fan TV react to what happens on the game, just after the game. Of course, the feeling is very high. But by the way, if you don't hear fans there, you don't hear them at all. So let them have a voice. I agree with that. Then I will presume that fans on the stands, fans in the ground, have got make their own mind about things. Maybe not. Maybe they are easily influenceable. And I think they are. They get influenced too easily. I don't agree with the treatment of Xhaka at all. Because I don't treat anybody in the world like that. Not players. Nobody. I believe in the respect that everybody deserves. I don't agree with that kind of treatment. And fans are easily manipulated. They are. We are. So what do you do about that? As a club, I think Arsenal should have a clearer message, should let Unai Emery speak even in his own language, should have other people talking, should have a stronger voice that even is ahead of the manager, perhaps Edu or Raul Sanllehi. They should be heard. And they should all go in the same direction, which is like, we are not so bad. Things will improve. Give us time. Because what Arsenal is trying to do, after years, not just months, years of creating an environment that wasn't very competitive, what they're trying to do is create that environment. Meanwhile, in 3 windows, they won't get it all completely right. They are bringing youngsters. They did well in the Europa League last season. They will do well in the Europa League this season. They will compete for the top 5, 6. That's the place where Arsenal is at the moment, yes. They will improve, I am convinced. But Arsenal needs everybody to be on board, at least everybody at the club. If the fans decide to be manipulated and to let their emotions run wild, okay, is their right. I just would like to talk to fans that analyze things with a little bit more calmness. Because I do believe that everything how it's been analysed at Arsenal is exaggerated. Because look at the table. Everybody's dropping points. Apart from Liverpool, of course, less than Chelsea, everybody's dropping points. And if we are calling a crisis, a team that's 6th, yes, a big distance with the top 4, but still a long time to go, then everything is a crisis. I think it's a little bit over the top what's happening, the analysis that's been done at Arsenal, the noise that's around Arsenal, the fact that after every game, Unai Emery has to be sacked, this Emery out campaign, everything is, in my eyes, a bit too much. Games will dictate, results will dictate, performances will dictate. Perhaps at the end of the season, that's what a normal club will do. Meanwhile, the fans have got the responsibility, I think, of analysing things a little bit calmer if they can, and respect the players. Yes, the players have to improve, no doubt about that. And a bit of stress and tension and boost from the fans help them get better. When it goes over the top, I think you fan are making a mistake. That's what I think. Unai Emery will stay, and I would like to hear him talk in Spanish and explaining in detail what he's trying to do. What do you think? Anyway, that's it. I've got a big interview prepared for you for the international break, so don't miss it. Come back and look at it and let me know what you think. Subscribe and etc. And we'll be here soon again. Cheers. Bye.